Hi, my name is Rob Tiongson. You may know me as the editor-in-chief of thepodiumfinish.com. What you may not know about me is that, like you guys, I like to collect diecast cars. Since I've been a fan of the sport since 1991, I've collected diecast cars, but to say the least, this is not my entire collection, but in the past year, it's accumulated to this very much on my table here because I've collected these Spin Master cars that are called NASCAR Authentics. As a partner of the sport since 2011, they've created these innovative diecast cars for the retail market for stores like Walmart, Target, or your local Kroger or convenience store to sell them for a really good price. They have different versions. They have NASCAR Kids, which includes this Jimmy Johnson car right here. The Great Racer series, which are typically your past champions, like a Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson. They also have what they call the Future Star series, or the young guns of the sport, like Danica Patrick. And they introduced a new line of drivers called hard drivers, or as I like to call it, the aggressive drivers, such as Kurt Busch, the 2004 Sprint Cup champion. This year, they've also introduced the Race Winners Selection Series, which will include some of the best race-winning cars of the 2013 season, like Casey Kane when he won at Bristol in the spring of 2013, and the NASCAR Icon Series, which is your historical stock cars, such as the late great Dale Earnhardt and his 1988 GM Goodrich Chevrolet. The difference with this year's collection, unlike last year's cars, is that not only do they actually have their typical blister packaging, which is like your Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars that are sold in retail stores, but for the more mature collectors, or if you have a child who likes to play with these, after you're done playing with them, you can actually store them in a little diecast box like this. And this special box right here allows the collectors to preserve their cars in case they take them outside of the blister packaging, and preserves them for a very, very long time to keep them in shape. The precision and detail by Spin Masters is pretty impeccable. When you look at the cars, they're very close to the actual stock car counterparts, just 64 times smaller. The one thing I do like about these cars is the very precise nature of the paint schemes. They pay attention to a lot of the details, such as the contingency decals, and also with the different body styles, like the Chevrolet SS, which I'm going to focus right here. You also have the differences in the Ford Fusion. You can tell right away that this is a Brad Keselowski Ford from Team Penske. Right over here. We also have the old style Chevrolet Monte Carlo back in 1988. Which I think is really neat for some of the younger audiences who may not have grown up with the cars of the past. The one thing I do wish is that these cars, I wish that they could distribute them a little bit faster, but all things considered, compared to in previous years, these cars are getting released a lot faster, and they do take a lot into consideration to what the fans' feedback are each time they go into the message boards. So one thing I like to introduce right here is this little series right here called the Memorable Moments. So far, to my knowledge, they've only done this series right here, which is the 2013 Daytona 500. And we'll start off with this one, which is the front row starters from last year's Daytona 500, when Danica Patrick won the pole, with Jeff Gordon as the outside pole sitter. And of course, it was a really historic moment because Danica's the first woman to win a NASCAR Sprint Cup pole. Not only that, she had a very competitive finish with the top 10 at Daytona. So Spin Masters made a really nice little set here with the diecast cars and these little collectible cards, which I actually think that they should actually offer these with the regular 164s, but it's a really good start, and the value for these two cars is pretty good for the fans who go to the retail stores. Then they came up with the Daytona 500 top 2 finishers, which, oddly enough, are this year's champion right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his number 88 team, and last year's Daytona 500 champion, Jimmy Johnson. Maybe it was a very foretelling sign that these two drivers would win the Daytona 500 in the past 2 seasons, but nevertheless, it's pretty cool to have the 200 guys right here and 2 of the more popular sport drivers over in this set is here. They also introduced a value pack series over here. I'll move over here, and they're actually going to introduce a new line, which I hope to review soon enough. But over here, I have the 3-pack Casey Kane series and the 3-pack Jimmy Johnson series. So over here, we have Jimmy Johnson's rides from last season. This includes the car that he drove at, I believe, at Pocono. This car he raced over in Fontana, the Jimmy Johnson Foundation car. And of course his championship winning car from last season, which looks a lot like the one that raced in Saturday Night's Bristol race this year. I also have the Casey Kane series, which consists of his 2014 ride, also his Pepsi Max car, and the Bristol winner right here. I like the variety that they offer, but I like to see more drivers getting their chance to have different vehicles offered. A driver like Brad Keselowski or Joey Logano should have their own 3-pack series where you can feature their Sprint Cup car, their NASCAR Nationwide car, and their NASCAR Camping World Truck Series car vehicles. I think that'd be a neat thing, and if they actually can pull these from their collectors or their demographics in social media through Twitter, Facebook, or Diecast car forums, I think that's a great step to distinguish themselves from Lionel. Now lastly, let me show you these haulers, which you probably see if you have a hot pass or cold pass to a NASCAR Sprint Cup track. This is where you can find the drivers at and get their autographs and where their cars are stored during the racing weekend. It's their little hideaway from this fans and also a place where they can congregate for the racing strategy. What I think is really neat is that they're actually making the real life version of these 64 times smaller, but they actually look a lot like the ones that you can see on the racetrack. Granted, these are 2013 models, but still, I think it's a really nice little feature to have in addition to the stock cars and the collector card series and the 3-pack series. The one thing I have to say is that, like their diecast cars, the detail that they paid attention to with these haulers is really great. I like that they even have the little contingency partners of the teams as well on here. The one thing that I would like to see, though, moving forward, is maybe they can actually include 1 or 2 of the cars to make it realistic. Maybe they could have some of the smaller parts of the racing weekend there, like a little tool set or little figurines of the crew to make it a nice little addition to say if you have a little diecast track, you can kind of recreate your own little stop motion race. All in all, I'm pretty impressed with what the Spin Masters offered here, and this is most of their 2014 line, including Wave 1 and Wave 2. Wave 3 hasn't quite reached Massachusetts, but I'm hopeful to collect those in the coming days and weeks so that I can review more of these for Spin Masters. The pricing for these cars are really great. I got these at actually Target for about $5. Not bad when you consider the alternative, which is Lionel, which is sold at $7.49, and that's the cheapest you can find on eBay. You can just make the trip over to Target or Walmart, and you can find this for $5. So you can get 2 of these and get $10 worth of cars, which I think is not too bad. And most of your favorite drivers are offered, like a Jeff Gordon, or Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and I've heard that there's more plans to introduce the NASCAR Nationwide Series, so stay tuned to that for sure through their Twitter page, which is twitter.com/NASCAR Authentic. These haulers cost about $10, which is about the same price as these 3-packs and the Memorable Set series that I highlighted earlier. I'm pretty honored that Spin Masters chose me to review their cars, and I'm happy to say that I've been a collector of their items since 2011. I've had a lot of diecasts over the years, and I look forward to seeing them build their relationship with not only NASCAR, but with fans like us, who definitely take the time to review their items, but also appreciate their offering as well. So to the folks at Spin Masters in Toronto, I'd like to thank you for listening to my review, and also race fans on YouTube, and our readers on thepodiumfinish.com. I look forward to your feedback. Was there anything that I missed? Was there any suggestions that I could have for future diecast selections for reviews? Please let me know. You can tweet me at twitter.com/thepodiumfinish, or email me at rob.tingson@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.